Theirs was a picture-perfect love story between a radiant young woman
She was tall, thin, and beautiful.
and a dapper military man who swept her off her feet.
He was loving and kind. This was in the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
But beyond their intense passion, both of them were hiding something.
It's difficult to imagine that someone could actually do something so horribly heinous.
When the tightly wound fabric of secrets and lies begins to unravel, it exposes a hidden evil that will shock a community and tear a family apart.
It's a love story just gone horribly wrong.
They realize that they are not sleeping with the knight in shining armor, they're sleeping with the enemy.
2009. It's a balmy Tuesday afternoon on the Bayou Grande, a popular Gulf Coast waterway not far from Pensacola, Florida. Among the many recreational boaters are two jet skiers speeding towards nearby Pensacola Bay. Suddenly, one of them spots something nestled in the tall grass on the banks of the inlet.
There was a large duffel bag that had washed ashore.
When the jet skiers pull up alongside the duffel bag, they realize something is terribly wrong.
Is that blood on it?
There's some blood, and there are some flies that are starting to accumulate.
This didn't seem right. They called the police department.
Moments later, officers arrive. They secure the area and wade into the murky water to more closely examine the blood-soaked bag.
The police unzip the bag and look inside.
What police discover inside this duffel bag would send a tidal wave of terror rolling across Bayou Grande, leaving in its wake a sordid tale of young love gone horribly awry.
It's shocking and it's heinous.
I wanted to know what kind of a monster would do that.
Pensacola, Florida, a bustling city of the southwest tip of Florida's Panhandle. The place 25-year-old Samira Watkins calls home.
She was born and raised here in Pensacola, Florida. She was tall, thin, and beautiful.
Growing up, Samira's parents teach their children the value of hard work. It's a message Samira lives her life by.
She liked to be challenged. She liked to see how far she can go.
In addition to maintaining good grades in high school, Samira works part-time at a local fast food restaurant. She so impresses her boss that after high school, she's given a promotion.
She had been working since she was 17 years old. She was now a manager.
During this time, Samira also meets a handsome young man named William Peters. The pair begins dating, and a year into their relationship, they have a child together.
Okay, ready? Go.
A beautiful boy named Dante.
She wanted to be a good mother to her child. She wanted to support him.
And to support Dante the way she wants, Samira decides she needs to go back to school.
She was also going to a local community college where she was studying to become a dental hygienist.
She was really trying to make something of herself.
At just 22 years old, Samira's professional life is on the rise. But her romance with William is about to hit rock bottom.
Look, I'm not asking you anymore.
You're not taking
You
the
need
keys
to
to
just.
the car.
Oh, you think I'm playing with you, don't you?
The relationship was extremely abusive. He was controlling, demanding, intimidating.
William's abuse of Samira is so severe and so frequent, neighbors ultimately call police. William is arrested and sentenced to 2.5 years behind bars. Finally free from the abusive relationship, Samira makes a solemn promise to herself.
She stood by her word that she would not ever put her son or herself through that type of craziness again.
Show me how to do it. Okay, go.
Samira desires a man who shares her work ethic, her ambition, and most importantly, who can serve as a role model for young Dante. But every man Samira meets seems more interested in a passing fling than in a committed relationship.
She tried and tried. She was about to give up on hoping being with anybody.
But then in July of 2009, Samira's luck changes. On her way to pick up a family member who works at the Pensacola Naval Air Station, Samira meets a tall, handsome military policeman working the gate. His name is Zachary Littleton.
Can I help you, ma'am?
Yes, I'm looking for the mess hall.
Zachary was a military police officer in the Navy, stationed here at NAS Pensacola.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can I have your phone number?
Yeah.
Like young people do, they flirted with each other and they eventually exchanged phone numbers.
They immediately hit it off. Samira seemed swept off her feet.
Okay,
Hold on.
I will.
Shortly after their electric first meeting, Zachary invites Samira to a party at a friend's house.
I'm doing all right, and you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you came.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
And despite the fact there are several attractive women present, it's clear Zachary only has eyes for Samira.
The words, the things he said to her was nice.
I want to be with you.
He was telling her that she's sexy. She was real happy.
Zachary seems to be everything Samira's been searching for in a man. Over the next few weeks, the relationship continues to blossom.
They spent a lot of time together. There was a lot of sex and a lot of nights out, things you do in the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
But the young lovers' budding romance is about to be cut short in terrifying fashion. October 29th, 2009, 9:20 p.m. As dusk falls over the Florida Panhandle, Samira's in her house getting ready for a night out.
Hello?
Hey, girl, I'm in here.
Samira asks her sister Sylvia if she'd mind babysitting her son Dante for the evening so that she can meet up with her boyfriend Zachary.
That's so pretty.
Thank you so much for watching for me.
I will.
All right, little man. Mwah. Be good.
Fast forward to 11 a.m. the following morning. Samira has yet to return home. Sister Sylvia ended up staying over to take care of little Dante. But in the early afternoon, Sylvia receives an alarming phone call.
She was supposed to show up at work, but she didn't in the job call.
That's not like her not to show up. Let me call her cell phone and see if I can find it for you.
I call her cell phone, I get no answer. And that what made me concerned.
Samira, where are you? Your job just called looking for you. You didn't even show up to work. You need to call me back as soon as you get this message.
Fearing the worst, Sylvia and Samira's cousin Jasmine head to Zachary's apartment to see if Samira is still there. But it soon becomes clear that neither Zachary nor Samira are home.
I was knocking on the door. I was worried. It was dark.
What Samira's family didn't know was the search for her and Zachary would unexpectedly shift and lead to a discovery more shocking than even the most calloused investigator could fathom.
It's heart-wrenching. Someone treated her like she was a piece of garbage.
After a passionate and whirlwind romance, hard-working single mom Samira Watkins and handsome naval officer Zachary Littleton have fallen head over heels in love.
She had fallen for him quick and hard. He completely swept her off her feet.
But on October 29th, 2009, both Samira and Zachary mysteriously disappear. Everyone in Samira's family wonders where the two lovebirds might be.
Both Samira and Zachary have been known to be very responsible and reliable people. It would have been very out of their character for both of them to disappear without notice.
The fact that Samira hasn't called to check in on her son Dante is even more disturbing.
She had a son that needed her. There was a lot of crying going on.
48 hours pass and still there's no word from Samira or Zachary. Worried sick, Sister Sylvia decides to file a missing persons report.
I just basically tell them that my sister's been missing for 2 days.
Veteran detective Jonathan Thacker is then assigned to Samira's case.
There's a lot of things that could happen to somebody. People do go missing from time to time. I'm hoping that Samira will show up someplace and that she'll be perfectly fine.
Since Samira told her family she was headed to see Zachary the night she disappeared, Detective Thacker's first objective is to confirm whether Samira ever made it to Zachary's house.
I was able to get a number for Zachary. I went ahead and called him, and he answered.
Police are relieved that one half of the missing couple is accounted for. Clearly distressed, Zachary says he's concerned by Samira's disappearance.
I asked him to come down to the police department to talk to me.
Sitting down with Zachary in an interview room, Detective Thacker asks him if Samira ever made it to his house the night she disappeared.
No.
No, she didn't come over last night.
Which, according to Zachary, was actually a relief.
Just to be honest with you, I didn't have time for her.
Zachary tells Detective Thacker that he was slated to move into a new apartment the following week, and he needed time to pack up.
When was the last time you saw Samira?
Last time I talked to her was Wednesday.
He did acknowledge that he saw her the day before, which was the Wednesday, October 28th.
But according to Zachary, the meeting on the 28th wasn't a date.
He was at home playing video games, and she showed up unannounced.
Hey.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I came to see you. Can I come in?
She wanted to speak to him and told me that he didn't want to talk to her.
The comment surprises Detective Thacker. By all accounts, Samira and Zachary were head over heels in love. That couldn't be further from the truth, according to Zachary.
I mean, I always wanted to get close, trying to turn this into a relationship. I didn't want a relationship, so she just wasn't getting the hint.
Littleton described he and Samira's relationship as really, there's no commitment at all. It was simply about meeting and having sexual intercourse.
Zachary goes on to explain that after their initial hookup, Samira began showing up at his house on a frequent basis, a move Zachary saw as a major turnoff.
How was your day?
You are obviously not getting it, are you?
He had decided that he didn't even want to see Samira anymore, that she was getting too clingy.
This is over.
What do you mean?
This relationship, us, there is no us.
What happened?
It doesn't matter. All you need to know is over.
According to Zachary, he tried several times to let Samira down gently, but she wouldn't take the hint.
He pretty much played her up to be this stalker who just became obsessed with him.
That's when Zachary told Samira in no uncertain terms that their relationship was over.
What do I need to say?
Tell me what's wrong and I'll fix it.
You know what? Leave. Just leave.
No.
According to Zachary, Samira was devastated.
She was upset. She wanted to work it out.
Finally, after several hours of begging and pleading, a tearful Samira asked Zachary to drive her home.
He said that she kept wanting to speak to him, but he just tuned her out and turned the radio up.
Zachary adds that he almost expected Samira to show up at his place the next day. But when she didn't, he figured she'd finally gotten the picture that he was breaking things off. Given his candor, police believe Zachary Littleton is telling the truth. But the interview has raised a few questions. For starters, why is Zachary's account of his relationship with Samira so drastically different from hers? And if Samira was so upset over the breakup, is it possible she took her own life? Just 2 days later, Detective Thacker gets an answer to that question, or so it seems.
What we had was a missing persons case, and then all of a sudden, Samira reappears.
"25-year-old Samira Watkins seemed to be living a charmed life. She had a budding career, a beautiful son she cherished, and a red-hot new romance with handsome new boyfriend Zachary Littleton. But on October 29, 2009, Samira mysteriously vanished. After speaking with her boyfriend Zachary Littleton, Detective Jonathan Thacker learns that Zachary had just recently broken up with Samira.
All you need to know is it's over.
Tell me what's wrong and I'll fix it.
You know what? Leave. Just leave.
Detective Thacker is now entertaining the notion that after being dumped by the man she loved, a heartbroken Samira might have done something drastic.
We were very concerned about the time that had elapsed. It definitely heightened everybody's concerns for her safety.
But on the afternoon of November 3rd, investigators receive a call that will alter the search for Samira Watkins in an unimaginable way. It comes from the jet skier who has discovered a suspicious-looking duffel bag hidden along the shoreline of Pensacola's Bayou Grande.
There's a bag on the shore that's washed up and there's blood around it. Looks like it's been here a while.
It definitely looked out of place. It's very large, and it looked like it had something in it.
Once they arrive on the scene, police carefully open the bag.
They unzip the bag and look inside.
What they discover is enough to turn the stomach of even the most seasoned investigators.
there is a deceased female that appeared to be African American. She had certainly started to decompose.
There were several layers of duct tape wrapped around the nose and the mouth.
Is this the body of Samira Watkins? The corpse is so waterlogged that immediate identification is impossible. But as they remove the body from the bag, investigators spot a glint of gold dangling from one ear.
So she's missing an earring, got one on this side.
We noticed that the female, she only had one earring in, and one earring was missing.
Detectives collect the earring as evidence. The body is then transported to the coroner's office to analyze the victim's fingerprints and determine their identity.
It was Samira.
The medical examiner determined her cause of death to be asphyxiation, meaning that there was no oxygen to her brain.
It's heart-wrenching, it is. She was a young lady working hard to make a better life for herself and her child. And someone thought so little of her.
As the medical examiner processes Samira's body, Detective Thacker delivers the news of her death to her family.
As I said, we had news. Unfortunately, it's not good news. We found Samira's body.
I was so hurt because me and Samira was real close. I was real hurt.
For Samira's family, the hard part is just beginning. Now they have to explain Samira's death to her 5-year-old son, who was staying with her sister Sylvia.
5-year-olds only know their mothers. That's all they know. And for his mother to go missing is unexplainable.
On November 3rd, 2009, Samira Watkins' case is reclassified to a homicide. With a murder on his hands, Detective Thacker redoubles his efforts, and in speaking with Samira's friends and family, he quickly hones in on a possible suspect, a man with whom Samira had a tumultuous romance. But it's not Zachary Littleton. It's William Peters, the father of Samira's son Dante, and the man who'd savagely beaten her years earlier.
I'm finna show you what I'm talking about.
Detective Thacker also learns that William was paroled just 4 months earlier.
The fact that he had just recently been released from prison added to our concerns.
He was the perfect suspect as far as the police were concerned.
Detective Thacker tracks William Peters to his mother's home and brings him in for questioning. Within minutes, it's clear William still carries a torch for Samira.
If I would have it my way, me and her would still be together.
Is it possible William tried to rekindle his romance with Samira, only to take her life when she rebuffed his advances? William steadfastly denies any wrongdoing.
I was working. A friend hit me up, told me they had a gig for me.
On the night of the 29th, he was with a crew doing janitorial work.
With William Peters' alibi appearing to rule him out, Detective Thacker and his team aren't sure where to turn next. That's when investigators receive a piece of evidence that threatens to blow the lid off the entire case. It comes from the coroner's office. After determining that Samira's cause of death was suffocation, they made another even more shocking discovery.
At this point, now police understand that she was pregnant.
According to the coroner, Samira was nearing the end of her first trimester, a fact that seemed to catch her friends and family a bit off guard.
It was a real big shock because she wasn't trying to have another child right now because she had her finna-be 5-year-old son and she was in school.
Samira's sister and cousin tell police that the only man in Samira's life is Zachary Littleton, and that a few weeks after Samira and Zachary started having sex, Samira began experiencing morning sickness.
She was not feeling well. She was throwing up, so she did go to the doctor.
She finds out she was pregnant. It was a shock.
This relationship was very new, and it's certainly not something she was planning on.
Samira's family tells police she had no desire to have another child. But is it possible her feelings for Zachary were so strong, she decided to keep the baby?
Please, just sit down. We need to talk. Please, just sit
But
down.
in speaking with some of Zachary's friends and neighbors, investigators learn when Samira told the man of her dreams she was pregnant, he wasn't exactly overjoyed.
I'm pregnant.
What?
I'm pregnant. It's her baby.
You are not going to have that baby. You understand me?
When she tells him, he pretty much snaps. He's telling her he don't want to have nothing to do with her or the child.
You are not having that baby.
No!
Investigators assume Zachary's reaction to Samira's pregnancy stemmed from the fact that he wasn't taking the relationship as seriously as she was. That is until a background check on Zachary reveals a shocking secret that he'd been keeping from Samira. A secret Samira uncovered just days before she went missing.
He was married and had another child.
Samira was heartbroken. She chose to confront him and ask him, why did you tell me you weren't married with no children? His excuse was that he lied to her to see if she was, in love with him for himself or if she was in love with him because of the fact that he was a Navy sailor.
Between Samira's pregnancy and Zachary's lies, the dashing military man is looking less like Mr. Right and more like a possible murder suspect. But investigators still need some sort of physical evidence that links him to the crime. Little do they know they're on the edge of finding it, along with a secret that suggests Zachary had another, even more shocking motive for wanting Samira Watkins dead. 2 months after falling in love with handsome military officer Zachary Littleton, 25-year-old single mom Samira Watkins is discovered dead, and her remains stuffed in a duffel bag. In an attempt to track down Samira's killer, investigators have just uncovered 2 shocking revelations. The first is that Samira was pregnant at the time of her murder. The second is that Zachary Littleton, the man who recently broke Samira's heart, is not only the father of her unborn child, he's also secretly married to another woman. Taking a closer look into Zachary Littleton's background, detectives learn his wife is also in the military and has been stationed at a base in South Carolina for the last several months.
Zachary's wife has gone away from him for quite some time, and he takes it upon himself at this point to have the proverbial, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
He was having affairs, plural. He had a group of approximately 5 women that he basically rotated on a regular basis.
But according to Zachary's fellow midshipmen, Zachary's days of sleeping around were on the verge of coming to an end.
His wife was scheduled to move to Pensacola on November 6th of 2009 with their daughter.
His days of being a player are over. There is no longer the ability to be the playboy that he once was.
Working in a military town like Pensacola, investigators know that if Zachary's wife got wind of the affair, it would be the end of more than just the marriage.
Under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, adultery is a crime. It's a career ender.
Unless, of course, Zachary could convince Samira to terminate her pregnancy.
You're gonna get rid of it, right?
What do you mean, get rid of it?
If she has an abortion, then she can disappear and he can continue with his life without having to explain why she's pregnant with his child.
Get rid of it. You can't have it. You cannot have that baby.
But the mere thought of having an abortion chilled Samira to the bone.
I didn't make this child by myself.
She told him, whether you choose to be a part of its life is up to you, but you are going to take care of this child.
You are not going to have that baby. You understand me?
I need you. We need you.
You are not having that baby. You understand me? Get rid of it.
He's our baby.
She wasn't gonna have no abortion.
At this point, my gut's starting to tell me that Zachary may have had something to do with Samira's murder.
But to tie Zachary Littleton to the crime, detectives still need proof. In an effort to find the evidence, they turn to Samira's cell phone records. They determined that shortly before she disappeared, Samira had received a flurry of phone calls from one particular caller, Zachary Littleton.
When Zachary was initially questioned by the police, He told them that he was actually relieved that Samira didn't come to his house because he needed to spend the rest of the night packing. However, when the police discovered his phone records, the entire case begins to change.
I was very concerned with his conflicting statements. Red flags are going up.
Using Samira's cell phone records, Detective Thacker traces the location of the final call between Samira and Zachary's phone.
The last call that she made pinged off of a tower that was located within 2 blocks of Littleton's apartment.
That absolutely put Samira at Zachary's house the night of her disappearance.
It's compelling circumstantial evidence, but it's still not the physical proof investigators need to connect Zachary to the murder. Zachary initially stated that Samira had a friend drop her off at his house, but Samira's family says she drove to Zachary's house by herself that night.
Finding what happened to her car, how could it have possibly have disappeared? And finding that car starts to give us the clues that we need to start unraveling this case.
Eventually, we did get a tip from a citizen who had located the car.
According to the report, Samira's car is parked in a rural area known as Pine Groves. As they race to the vehicle, investigators can't help but wonder if they're on the cusp of finally unraveling this twisted tale of jilted love, double lives, and the cold-blooded murder of a beautiful mother. When Samira Watkins met suave naval officer Zachary Littleton, she thought she'd found a man she could spend the rest of her life with. But after a series of shocking revelations, investigators now believe Zachary might have murdered Samira in order to keep their affair a secret and keep her unplanned pregnancy under wraps.
Does he admit to the adultery to his wife and risk the fact that he may be penalized by the military system? Or does he suddenly figure out a way to get rid of her? How does he get rid of Samira? How does he make her go away?
But with no physical evidence linking Zachary to the crime, investigators have pinned their hopes on finding Samira's missing car.
A car sometimes can be a treasure trove of evidence.
The theory is that after killing Samira, Zachary needed to dispose of her car to make it look like he never saw Samira the night she disappeared. A few days later, an anonymous tip from a local resident leads police to Samira's car, abandoned on a weed-infested roadside in the remote Pine Groves neighborhood.
When the police find Samira's car, it is found in this area that is so deserted and so isolated, whoever left it there had no intention of ever coming to get it.
There's no public transportation that runs at that time of night when she disappeared, so we were fairly confident that they took a cab or got a ride.
With that theory in mind, Detective Shannon Fortenberry obtains local taxi records from the night Samira was murdered.
I got about 1,000 pages of taxicab records, and through several days sifted through them.
On November 5th, 2009, Detective Fortenberry gets the break she's been waiting for.
The police discover a phone call to the local cab company. That call was received at approximately 4:20 a.m., and the call came in from Zachary Littleton's cell phone.
I found where Zach had called from a Waffle House just a couple of blocks from where the car had been found.
Armed with this evidence, Detective Fortenberry heads to the restaurant in hopes of obtaining further proof that Zachary Littleton had placed a call to a cab service from the restaurant.
Luckily, they have in-store video surveillance, and I was able to pull that surveillance up.
There's Zachary inside Waffle House looking right at the camera as he makes the phone call to Yellow Cab.
Not only does the surveillance footage place Zachary in the vicinity of Samira's abandoned car the night of the crime, it blows his alibi wide open.
He represented to them that he had been home by himself packing his apartment all night. And then here they find video surveillance of him at 4:20 in the morning in a Waffle House on the opposite side of town.
That just certainly pinpoints him and just makes him completely caught red-handed.
On the afternoon of November 6th, while Zachary Littleton is manning his post at the naval base, investigators execute a search warrant on his apartment. Within minutes, detectives uncover a chilling piece of evidence.
So we located an earring that was inside of Littleton's home.
Detective Thacker recognizes the earring immediately.
It had a design on it. It was a very unique earring.
When police discover Samira's body, they can only find one earring. When police find this other earring in Zachary's house, it seals the case for the police.
Finding the earring was extremely important. The earring was something that actually tied Zach to the crime itself.
In addition to the earring, detectives seize Zachary's laptop and deliver it to the crime lab, where an analysis of Zachary's browser history reveals another disturbing piece of evidence.
There were searches on how to cause an abortion or a miscarriage.
But the abortion searches are just the tip of the iceberg.
He's now starting to look at how he can get rid of her body and not get caught.
He really damned himself just by looking up things on the internet.
The searches on the computer screams to me that this was a premeditated killing of Samira Watkins. It's shocking to see that Zachary had so little concern or value for the life of another human being. And not only another human being, but another human being that was pregnant.
November 23, 2009. Police arrive at the Pensacola Naval Air Station front gate. The same checkpoint where Samira Watkins first laid eyes on the man she thought she'd marry. This time, the police are there to arrest Zachary Littleton for her murder.
Are you Zachary Littleton?
Yes, sir.
Would you step out here, please?
Do you mind telling me what this is about?
You step out here, please put your hands behind your head. You're under arrest for the murder of Samira Watkins.
What?
Anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law.
The arrest was made with the help of NCIS and the base commanders. The mood was disappointing, and a lot of them were still in disbelief.
Zach, he didn't really say anything. He seemed very somber.
Anyone who knew Zachary could not believe that he had done it. Zachary was doing well, and something like this just really blindsided them, and they honestly did not know what to do with it.
For Samira's family, the arrest is a bittersweet moment.
I was glad that they had got him, but it was gonna bring my sister back.
Samira is dead, but we've also discovered that she died at the hands of her lover, of the love of her life. This is so incredibly tragic.
In Samira's case, Zachary is charged with first-degree murder. The charges are serious enough to hold Zachary without bond in county jail. Nevertheless, prosecutors worry that the case against him will not hold up in court.
No one actually saw Zachary Littleton kill Samira Watkins. No one actually saw Zachary Littleton throw Samira Watkins' body into Bayou Grande.
Nor does anybody know how a jury will respond when they learn the defendant is a military man with an otherwise spotless record.
They want confessions, they want CSI, and I went in there with a 100% circumstantial evidence case.
I was scared because he was gonna get away with my cousin murder.
Little do they know that this is really just the beginning. The fireworks are just about to begin.
All Samira Watkins wanted in life was unconditional love. For her, her son, and the baby she had on the way. She thought she'd finally found that love with dashing naval officer Zachary Littleton. But after Samira's body was found stuffed in a duffel bag, police discovered video and circumstantial evidence that pointed to Zachary as her killer. And prosecutors have now charged this married military man with murder.
Here we have a case of a decorated military man murdering his mistress.
On June 28, 2011, the trial gets underway. One side of the courtroom is packed with Samira's friends and family.
I'm feeling nervous. We was gonna fight to the end till we find out some justice.
But Zachary Littleton also has a large group of supporters, including his beautiful wife.
Zachary's wife stayed with him the entire time at the trial. She stood behind him. She was very supportive. It's not something that you would normally expect for a wife who just found out that her husband had been cheating on him while she was gone.
Prosecutors opened their case by asserting this is a simple case of premeditated murder carried out by a desperate man.
I gave them motive. Zachary had gotten a girl pregnant. It was detrimental to his marriage and it was detrimental to his career.
We're not having that baby.
He decided to eliminate Samira and to kill her and her unborn child.
Prosecutors then paced the jury through their theory about how the crime went down. On the night of the murder, Zachary lured Samira to his home under the guise that he wanted to get back together.
Hey, baby. Hey, listen, I need to talk to you. Yeah, but come over. Yeah, I want to talk to you face to face.
She was elated when he said, "Come by my apartment tonight. Let's talk about our child. Let's see what we can work out together."
But the moment Samira entered his home, the much larger Zachary attacked her, strangling her until she was unconscious. He then duct-taped her mouth shut and stuffed her into a large duffel bag.
He carried her out to her own car, put her in the trunk, and drove straight from his apartment to the bridge that goes over the bayou.
He dumped the body, and then he abandoned her car. And then he took the taxi cab home.
To back up their version of events, the state presents Samira's missing earring that was found in Zachary's house, as well as the footage from the restaurant that put him in the vicinity of Samira's abandoned vehicle. But when it's the defense's turn, they hammer away at the lack of physical evidence, specifically the absence of DNA tying Zachary to the crime.
All the places where they took swabbings and they did not find Mr. Littleton's DNA.
As for motive, the defense concedes that Zachary is a womanizer, but that doesn't necessarily make him a killer.
If you find that he's guilty of bad judgment for having an adulterous relationship, that doesn't mean he's guilty of murder.
In their closing argument, the defense plays their trump card, Zachary Littleton's spotless military record.
It's difficult for a jury to imagine that someone of his caliber who has no prior history could actually do something so horribly heinous to another human being.
As both sides rest and the jury begins to deliberate, it's unclear which way the scales of justice will tip.
The jury had a challenge. Here they are looking at this man who, again, decorated military personnel, and his wife is unwavering in her support for him. And yet the prosecution presents evidence of this beautiful young murdered mother with all signs pointing to Zachary.
Surprisingly, just 3 hours after adjourning, the jury returns with their verdict.
Guilty as charged of first-degree premeditated murder. There was an overwhelming sense of relief for the family members and friends of Samira Watkins.
We were so excited, my heart stopped. Everybody started crying.
Upon hearing the verdict, Littleton turned to say goodbye to his staunchest supporter.
He was looking around for his wife, but she had left. He didn't wait around to hear his speech or the sentencing.
At his sentencing hearing, Zachary is allowed to address the court. Samira's family hopes he'll show remorse. They're sorely disappointed.
He gets up and he make a statement saying that he didn't do it, and he hoped that they find Samira's killer so the family can have closure. I was thinking what type of apology was it?
What this says is that Zachary is in complete and total denial over his committal of the crime and the true brutality that he actually committed.
The judge sentences Zachary to life in prison without parole. But no punishment can ever make up for the love and lives he destroyed the day he murdered Samira Watkins.
The tragedy is that a beautiful, young, pregnant, 25-year-old girl with her entire future ahead of her, her life was cut short by someone who had absolutely no concern and no care for her.
People all over the world fall in love. And when they fall in love, they don't think about, I may possibly die as a result of this love.